Do you think that you can't create a preserved pantry like this without having a garden? You can, and it's okay. It's the end of another busy growing season in North America. People are starting to put their gardens to bed as the fall approaches. And if you're like me, you love watching that content because it's so inspiring and it's in its goals and it's something that you would love to do, but you can't. Or maybe you're like me and you come away from those videos sometimes feeling dejected or sad or frustrated that you can't accomplish that same thing. And then you think, well, I can't do any of it. But I want to be one of the ones that say, I am not a homesteader. I'm not somebody who has a large garden. I don't have the ability to do that. Now, maybe it's your health that makes it to where you can't garden. Or maybe your circumstances has you working the equivalent of 2 full-time jobs plus caring for your family. There is no time to garden. Or maybe your location makes it to where you have no ability to garden whatsoever because you just don't have space. Or maybe you do garden, but for whatever reason, your garden failed. But I'm here, friend, to encourage you. You can do it. 99% of what I have here was not grown in my garden. What I do, you can do too. So let's talk about it. I take advantage of grocery stores. I'm that person who goes and buys all of their food to turn around and preserve it, because just like those who have gardens that have enough produce to be able to preserve it for a year, I deserve that same kind of food security, and so do you. There are also some other reasons why using the grocery store or the farmers markets or your neighbors or gleaning are optional ways to go ahead and stock your pantry. What happens if, like us, your garden fails? We had a horrendous summer this year with high heats in triple digits that were not great, with no rain, and many of our plants, no matter how much we watered them, died because they couldn't handle the heat. So if we were relying on that food, we wouldn't have it because our garden failed. You can do this. So I'm going to share some tips that I have in order to put food in our pantry to prepare us for the year and to have food for food security for us. I take advantage of the grocery store. I do 99% of what I preserve came from a grocery store. I will do these things. I will shop the sales in the produce section. Now, seasonally, you'll get sales when things are coming in season locally. They're a little less expensive to get, and you will get that price as well. So when that happens, if you see a low price on food, go bulk up and then go home and preserve it. Take some time, get it in your freezer, get it in your canner, get it in your freeze dryer, in your dehydrator, however you can do it. Take that time and preserve the food. Something else I do is I shop the freezer section, because that's not only a money saver, it's also a time saver, because the food that's in the frozen section is actually already prepared for you. So you don't have to do any preparation at all. You open a bag, you pour it onto a dehydrator tray, and you dry it. It's that simple. So for me, if I happen to see onions that are on sale, I will take as many bags as I can possibly get without clearing off a shelf, leave some for everybody else, and I will come home and I will start processing those onions. Onions are less smelly when they've been frozen first. That doesn't mean they don't smell. They are just less smelly. So I will process as much as I can. Sometimes if I find bulk vegetables, the mixed vegetables are a great way to create not only something like this, which is a soup starter, but you can also create something like this, which is vegetable powder that you can add to anything that you create. Something else I also do in the produce section is I will go and shop for the clearance. Now, if your grocery store doesn't do this, I'm really sorry. But our store will mark down produce that is getting to the end of its best buy time, or maybe they had so much they can't get through it, so they're putting some on sale to get rid of it. But for whatever reason, if I see that, I will buy as much as I can and then come home and start processing. And one of the things I do with that is if I can get bags of greens, I come home and I get those dried and I make green powder. Between the vegetable powder and the green powder, I can add a lot of nutrients to our family's foods all year long for things that we don't typically like to eat, which is greens. We just don't like greens unless they're fresh. We don't like cooked greens of any sort. So that's the way that I can add that to everything that I do. So let's talk a little bit about what I have here. We have dried corn, dried greens, elderberries. This is dried hash browns, because yes, you can dry frozen hash browns from your grocery store. I hate processing potatoes. I'm sorry. It's one that I just hate doing. So I take advantage of the frozen that's there, come home, dry it. It's done soon, and I can use it however I'd like to use it. I have this great casserole that I'll put the link up here down in the description box that I use to create from dehydrated hash browns. Then we have all of my onions. Then back here is like a generic vegetable blend that when I have a ton of vegetables in the refrigerator that I haven't been able to use up, I just put them all in the food processor, roll them up, get them into tiny pieces, dry them, and this is like a generic vegetable blend. This is also frozen vegetables that I do that are the mixed bags that you can get in the freezer section. I do them, I put them all together, it doesn't matter. These are great soup starters or casserole bases. They are perfect for doing that. Then we also have some dried instant beans back here. Instant meals, strawberries, dried peppers, mirepoix, which is celery, carrots, and onions, vegetable powder, which often what I'll do is I'll take any kind of excess vegetables here, and if I'm not using them quickly enough, I grind them up. And this vegetable powder is used in everything that I cook. I will add a tablespoon or two to add more nutrients to it. Then I also have, this is the mirepoix equivalent for Cajun folks. It's Holy Trinity, which is peppers, onions, and celery. So they are both basically casserole starters. Then I have back here, we've got more peppers. We've got more peppers. We've got more soup starters back here. That is more pumpkin powder. Then we've got, let's see, more peppers. These are whole peppers that we dried. Then we've got onions, more mushrooms back there, carrots, grapes. Let's see, cranberry bits that we're out of that I'll have to do a lot more this season as the season comes. Then down here, I'll have to show you, we've got zucchini, mushrooms, breadcrumbs, hamburger, and yeah, you can do hamburger. And there's more in the other extended pantry that we've created that is going to be like, we keep putting more stuff up there. So it's everywhere in our house right now. So these are just some of the things that I dry to have on hand that we use every day. This also goes for all the herbs that are in my regular pantry that I put away every year. And anything else that I can stock up on as I can stock up on. This is what I put aside. I use this all the time. I work through it, then do more. This is something that you can do without a garden, friend. Trust me, you can. And I hope that gives you some encouragement to know that it's okay. That we don't all have to do all the things. And the things that we're given the ability to do, we should do. Those things that we can't, we move on and make do and find another way around. So until I see you again next time, I hope that you will keep preserving. Now I'm off to the grocery store.